Hey friend, hope you're doing well. Something that's been on my mind recently is that in order to make the changes you want in your life, you have to become your own best friend. And I know this sounds very corny, very cheesy, very cringy, whatever you want to call it, but it's the truth. You have to build a relationship with yourself to the point where you can rely on yourself. You can really trust yourself to be there for you, even when no one else is. And I think especially in today's world where we're all very isolated, we're all very separated from each other, it's very easy to get in this headspace where you're just constantly comparing yourself to other people. You're constantly trying to measure yourself up to others. You're constantly trying to criticize yourself. And nothing really comes from it. Because as soon as I was able to change my inner critic, so that inner voice that I've always had since I was a kid, that tells me that I'm not good enough, tells me that I'm stupid, tells me that I need to change, I need to do X or Y. As soon as I started to question that voice and slowly replace it with a more kinder, more understanding voice, everything in my life changed. And I want to kind of explain this to you in a bit more detail. So, much like you, throughout my younger years, I was someone who didn't have the most luck when it came to, having close friends or having a lot of self-esteem. I was very insecure, I was very shy, very introverted young guy. And, due to my experiences, whether that was with my parents, especially my dad, who was quite abusive, like verbally and physically, I kind of never really knew my worth and knew what I was capable of. So I had a lot of these self-limiting beliefs about myself. I didn't believe I was capable of doing much. I didn't believe that I was worthy of being loved. I didn't believe that, that I was a good person, or I deserved good things. And in the long term, this led to me creating this inner voice that now that I'm able to see it from a third person point of view, I understand now this inner voice was just a reflection of all the worst moments of my life, all the times that I've been picked on, all the times that I was belittled, all the times I was, told I wasn't good enough. I kind of accepted that as my truth. And the same thing has probably happened to you. Like, the things you believe about yourself are just literally like the encapsulation of all the worst things that have happened to you. Because our brain, for whatever reason, well, I know the reason is because it wants to keep us safe. Our brain likes to keep track of all the bad things that happen to us to try and prevent us from allowing these events to happen again. So our brain will constantly remind us of, how people hurt us, how people are scary, how the world is out to get you, to basically keep you in this safe bubble. But what happens is that the longer that you stay in this bubble of safety, the more used you get to, creating your own worldview, even when that worldview, isn't exactly very expansive, even when that worldview is trying to contain you in this box. You find safety in that box. So let me tell you a bit more about how to break free from this illusion of safety. So the first thing you need to do is start to question this inner critic. So let's say an example, like you are walking down the road and you see a group of people like around your age across the street, and you notice that like one by one they will start looking at you. If you have an inner critic that tells you that you're not good enough, that you're unlovable, that you're weird, you're awkward, your inner critic is now going to tell you they're looking at you because they think you look stupid. They're looking at you because you're lonely. Oh, I bet you could never be friends with them. I bet they could, tell that you're weird or whatever. Insert your inner dialogue there. And now you're going to go around and through the world perceiving everyone that pays you attention as it being something to do with the fact that you're not worthy of something, or that you're the odd one out. However, if you're someone who believes good things about yourself and you're in the same situation where a group of people are staring at you, maybe you believe that you're someone who's worth people paying attention to. Maybe you believe you're someone who dresses well. Maybe you believe you're someone that has a positive and attractive aura to you. You're going to presume that people are looking at you because they can tell these good things about you. There it is, that's your reality. Your reality is simply what you believe about yourself and what your actions tell you about yourself. So if you're someone who has this inner critic who's constantly, trying to remind you of the worst things that happen, I want you to question this inner critic. Like, question it, be like, okay, why are you telling me this? What do you want me to do with this information? Because if your inner critic, this inner worldview, isn't trying to help you move forward in life, it's just literally there to contain you. That's it. It's there to limit you. That is it. It's not your friend. It's not on your team. All it's trying to do is make sure that you never question it, that you never get past it. So once you are in a position to question this inner critic, you'll find that there's a lot of holes in its logic. Because your inner critic just believes that what happened in the past will continue to happen forever. Your inner critic believes that your past defines your future. And that is just not true. And the only reason your past will define your future is if you allow it to, and if you continue making the same mistakes you did in the past. So you have to learn from the things that your inner critic is trying to bring up to you. Instead of taking it as a fact, when your brain told you, oh yeah, that's time where you made everything awkward because you, said X or Y, maybe it isn't a sign that you shouldn't be in social situations. Maybe it's just a sign that you need to work on your social skills. Maybe it's just a sign that you need to develop your own character and your own personality and be more confident in it, instead of trying to limit yourself and make yourself small. And what will happen eventually is that the more you question this inner critic, the more that you poke holes in its logic, it will get quieter and quieter until you're left with a new voice, a more friendlier voice, a voice that is actually on your side. And you cultivate this voice by feeding yourself things that benefit you. Literally consuming, whether that's content, music, whatever it is, like even just conversations that stimulate positive thoughts and ideas in your mind. That's how you cultivate this new reality and you cultivate this new personality. You have to feed yourself things that help you get closer to the person you want to be. Because eventually what happens is that this inner critic that was once, your biggest hater and was trying to bring you down, eventually gets replaced by a version of yourself that is uplifting you. A version of yourself that's, empowering you and telling you that you're able and you're good enough to take up space, that your voice is important, that people in your life do need you. You're not some sort of hindrance. And of course, you're going to immediately feel like that's not true, like that's wrong, that's cringe, I'm coping, whatever it is, I'm fooling myself, I'm being delusional. Again, that is your inner critic. Your inner critic doesn't believe that you're capable of living a good life. So it sees a good life, a happy life, as being delusional. That doesn't mean it's true. And the further and further you get away from this inner critic, the more that you start to live in your ideal reality. Maybe for you, that's a reality where you're around people that you love and care about. Maybe that's a reality where you are, someone important that actually is able and feels comfortable to take up space and be present for not just yourself, but for other people. And the more that you embody this new identity, the louder and louder this inner friend becomes. Now you'll stop questioning yourself when you're in social environments. Now you'll stop criticizing yourself when when you make mistakes. That's the most important thing as well, like allowing yourself to make mistakes. Because you are a human, and by definition, we are going to make mistakes. And I want to leave you with one last thing, which is that you have to understand that you can't control your first initial thought. People always tell you that you can control the way you think, you can control the way you react to things. And to an extent it's true, but you can't control the first one. That first thought is going to be an instinctual reaction. That's going to be a very visceral one that comes from your inner identity, the one that comes from your trauma, that comes from your experiences. Don't trust that first thought. You can't control the first one, but you can control your second thought. So as soon as you understand that this first thought isn't my reality, it's simply just what my nervous system is used to, you no longer have to see it as being a fact. You no longer have to see it as being the truth, because it doesn't have to be your truth anymore. And the biggest filter you can put onto this first reaction is to ask yourself, does this reaction that I now, I'm taking over, that I'm embodying, does this belief empower me? Does it improve my life in any way? If it doesn't, okay, I'm going to throw it away. And I'm going to choose to believe something else, something that will benefit me, something that will actually get me closer to becoming the person I want to be. And that isn't always going to be a positive experience. Sometimes it's going to be, maybe my reality is that I need to go back to the drawing board. Maybe my reality is that I need to get comfortable with, being wrong and lowering my ego and allowing myself to learn things and improve. And that's okay. So yeah, just know that your inner critic isn't always going to be there, and that you're not doomed to a life of sadness. You're not doomed to a life of loneliness and despair. You just have to get better and get more comfortable with questioning this inner critic and eventually replacing it with someone who is on your side. So yeah, speak soon. Peace.